Take us through a
That's
bit of the
great.
process in terms of what questions you were asked and a belief that's common with regards to disease.
Sure, sure. So it's different for every person. It's a process of that it requires a certain level of intuition, but certainly there's lots of training involved.
Mm,
So let's say a person has migraines. So we start with the nuts and bolts question, and I call them nuts and bolts because it's the physical manifestation. When does it come on? How severe is it? Where do you feel it? What does it feel like? Um, are there any accompanying symptoms? We call this in naturopathic medicine old carts: onset, location, duration, et cetera, et cetera. So I get all that stuff, and I'm really listening for the language that they use to paint the picture of how it feels for them, because that is going to become vital when we get down into the subconscious and they start using the same language to describe a situation that they're in. For example, I had a case of a woman who had chronic kidney stones, and the pain of the kidney stones was squeezing, and it felt like it was stuck between these two very powerful forces, and it felt very painful, like it was squeezing. And the kidney stones had started shortly after she had begun a new job. And the new job was as middle management, and she was being squeezed between upper management saying, hey, she was a nurse manager, get your nurses to do this. And she was being squeezed by the nurses going, hey, get upper management to help us do this. So she felt squeezed. She didn't know how to deal with it. She didn't have that kind of disposition. And then she started to get these kidney stones.
mm,
And after I think it was 13 to 15 years on the job, she had two more episodes of kidney stones, which she was getting regularly, like bi-monthly, and then she had no more. So the momentum of the illness at the physical took a little bit of time after the root cause was addressed. It took a couple of more months for it to ease down into a point of resolution and stillness, and then she didn't have any more following that. So that's an example of that. So we're okay. So let's say we're working with someone with migraine. So once I collect all that initial data, then I'll say there's different entry points into the subconscious, into the going beyond just the physical stuff, getting into the mental emotional. So one of the common ones is, when did it start? Oh, it started 10 years ago. And did anything happen in your life, at that time? Well, no, not really. I got married. I got it, like people will I'm speaking that lightly because people will often dismiss a correlation at this stage between the cause and the symptoms, because they're kind of the conscious mind doesn't want to go there. It wants to be in control. It doesn't understand that realm, and it likes to like deny stuff. So yeah, I got married. Oh, what's your marriage like? Well, it's okay, but we don't always get along. Well, tell me about that. What's going on? Like, so I'll literally investigate whatever whatever the stream of response that the person tells is revealing itself. I will ask questions, and then my role as a practitioner is to make sure that people stay on track, because one of the biggest problems that people have is that they don't want to go there. I mean, if they did want to go there, they would have gotten there already. So there are issues in themselves of facing that. The the very thing that causes the most problems in a person is the resistance to going to the place that will set them free. So they have built up all kinds of like very subtle, defense mechanisms and avoidance patterns. That could be, watching Netflix or eating chocolate or drugs or alcohol. It could be, um, kind of watching movies. Like I said, there's lots of different patterns where we avoid. And where a person says, I will never let that happen. I never go there. that's exactly their problem, because the control that results from that not going there is what has led to their chronic illness. So my goal is to watch for when they're slipping out and escaping, and I bring them back to continue the journey inward and downward into the point of pain, because that's where the point of liberation is, in the pain.